Let me see what's going on this Tippler Talk Tuesday. Well, folks, in front of me, in front of you, I have a pair of my white homers that I've been flying around my loft. This pair's made it up, and I'm just displaying them just for looks for this video. But the topic we're going to talk about is a recap of last week's video. How many types of tipplers are there? Are there one type of tippler or two types of tippler? I will say this. My opinion, only my opinion, there's only one type of tippler. And why do I say that? Because when the tippler originated from the UK, overseas, they were considered a flying tippler. I don't believe they were showing birds as far as for show. I don't believe they had a standard for shows. And that came later. So the original tipplers that came from overseas were designed to fly. And we'll leave it at that. Look it up. It's in the you can Google it. It's out there. There's tons of information out there. And that's my take on it. But now that rumor has it that we are now conforming to flying tipplers, we're going to be competing in flying tipplers. We're going to be competing here in the Florida Competitive Flying Tippler Club, and we're going to be competing also with the Southern Chapter ATU, in which now the ATU in New York is going to be competing as well. And having said that, I am glad that they're moving in that direction. I'm glad that we're all now on the same page and we want to compete. And not to say that they never wanted to compete in the past. They did want to compete, but no one was competing. That's where the issue lies. It's good to say that we're doing it or we've done it, but we're not doing it anymore. And that's what I want to get the message across. That we all want to compete. The ones that do want to participate in competing with tipplers, now they have the opportunity. I see a lot of guys now that have had show tipplers, and I'll say tipplers. I won't even call them show, but they were entering them in shows, therefore making them show tipplers. And that's what I'm getting at. That if you're not competing with those birds that you were showing, if you're not putting them up for time, and now we are now getting imported proven flying tipplers, will those tipplers compete now? Or have we changed the standard so far that we still can't compete with those flying tipplers in a show? So the question now I ask is, are we going to design a set of rules for two types of tipplers in look? Now I'm not talking about performing. I don't know what those show tipplers or the tipplers they've been showing, how they perform. I don't know how long can they get on the wing as far as for flight. I don't know if anyone's ever recorded any significant amount of time. But we've changed the standards so much from the original of back in 1967, I believe, when the ATU was formed. From back in 1967, moving forward, we've changed the standards so much that we've changed also the look of the bird. But the question still remains: can those birds can compete? Can they compete and fly like the flying tipplers that I have here in my loft that do not meet the standard in look? So for people out there watching and explaining there's only one type of tippler or two types of tippler, I say there's one. What we've done is we've altered and changed the appearance, and sometimes we don't acknowledge that. As a group, we don't acknowledge it, or some do, some don't. When we talk about crested birds, crested tipplers, sure, they may have come out of the flying tippler years ago, and that's how we now develop the crested tippler, and I can accept that. But have we recorded a crested tippler doing a significant amount of time? If it's out there, let me know. I want to see it. I want to see it. Has it been documented? Has it been tested? Or we've been wrapped up so much in the show that we've forgotten about the flying. But I'm glad that a lot of people are on board now. I hear a lot of guys getting in their lofts now. They're getting a mixture of lines, of bloodlines, whether they call them Levettes, Davies, Bowdens, Shannons, Harry Shannons, whatever you want to call it. Now that you have those in your loft, now you're going to be competing in flight. But I also like to see you compete with the other ones, so then we can determine which is the better flyer. Is it the ones that you're showing in the show, or is it the ones that you're flying now that don't even meet the standard in a show? You couldn't even put those in a show. But overall, I use this example. I've trained dogs for many years. German Shepherd from Germany. And I've been blessed to train two types of dogs. I've trained a showline shepherd, and I've also trained a working class shepherd, working dog, the ones that they use in police departments and in military. And here's what I found: that they're both German shepherds. They're both from the UK and Germany. They're both. You see them all over the countryside over there. You see them in Poland. You see them in Germany, and you see them in the all the regions of the European countryside. You see those shepherds. But when they train those German shepherds overseas, the showline shepherd was designed for prettiness, for show. That's why they call it a showline shepherd. They're raked in the back, they're taller in the front. They're constantly, the colors that you see is just the plain saddleback, what they call saddleback, red and tan, black and tan. But now you talk about the working line shepherd. The working line shepherd was designed to work. It's even all the way across his back. It stands on his four legs. The snout is wider, shorter, wider head, smaller ears. And those dogs were bred for working as well. Now, have they taken a showline shepherd and crossed them over into the working field? Absolutely. I worked one, and I'll say that this showline shepherd, not all of them turn out to be good working dogs on the road, but the one that I had was phenomenal. Was a great working dog. But every time I pulled that dog out of the car, people would say, the ones that knew about shepherd, they would say, that's a showline shepherd, not a working dog. But he worked, and that was the good thing about it. So here I fall back to the question. There's only one type of Tippler, but we have two kinds. We have the ones that we show in the cages for prettiness, and could those perform like a flying, ugly looking Tippler? I believe that, they probably can, but no one's demonstrated that yet. No one's taken the leap of testing them. If you do that, and you can show on paper good results on showbirds that we've been showing with that standard that we've implemented at the ATU standard, now you have best of both worlds. But I believe honestly that, in all due fairness, that show Tippler will not perform or outperform an ugly looking Tippler that when you look at it, it doesn't meet any part of the standard whatsoever in the ATU club. For guys out there that are flying now, that want to fly and compete, kudos to you. I think we can all do well. A lot of guys in the ATU can do well if they set their mind to it. The guys down here in Florida, they can do it too. I've never competed, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try. Stand by. All right, folks, back at it again. So when we go back and we look at our Tipplers in our lofts, now we can see the difference. There's only one kind of Tippler, and that's a flying Tippler. In order for those folks to compete, now they have to get other Tipplers that do not meet the standard for a show. And now they're going to be competing. Now you're doing something. For the most part, I think that all the Tipplers out there that folks have out here, they've either developed them in a different way. You take the best of the best. You create what the look that you're going for. Or if you're flying, you create the best flyers. I have a few now that I've tested this past year and the beginning of this year, and they've done well for me, over 8 hours plus. Now that I've developed that right here in my loft, I know I can get more out of them, and I just got to work them. So ask yourself, how many tipplers what kind of tipplers are there out there? There's only really one tippler, but we all have different variety of tipplers that we've developed. Some are crested, some are not, some have color, some are not. Your common blue bar, blue checker, red, and grizzle were the originals, the original colors. Everything else after that has been developed. I also can say that the yellows and the reds, Sheffield, especially the reds, some with white tails, some with white in them. The Sheffields have also been out there for color. Those are the only ones that I know that are performed for color, as well as the grizzles and the prints. But overall, anything else, models, apple duns, bronze, yellow model, that's all been developed afterwards. And we all have them. Now in my loft, you won't find any more yellow models, red models. I've gotten rid of those. I've stuck to just a couple of common colors, blacks, blue bars, duns, dun bar, dun check. When we talk about pattern or colors, and you know, what can I say? That, you know, you guys out there watching my videos, just, you know, food for thought. Get in on the chat. Tell me what you think. I think everyone has a shot of doing well in the ATU, in the Southern Chapter ATU, and now in the Florida Competitive Tippler Flying Club. We can do well. We can all compete. We can all swap ideas if you want. We can trade information if you want. I think that it's a good thing. I think it's a positive thing. And I believe that your skills are going to show when you go to fly. If you can get those birds to fly well for you, if you end up with the right breed for flying, or say the bloodline, so to speak, if you end up with that line that you think in your mind is going to help you fly and you do well, hats off to you. However, of course, if it's slow going in the beginning, stick with it. I think we all can fly very well. Whether it be here or up north, everyone can fly. Everyone can get in on this. Baltimore's doing it. The UK's doing it. Hats off to Joe M. Tippler. That guy right there, world of knowledge. And he says it himself. He's learning as he goes along too. I'm sure he feels sometimes he doesn't do things perfect, but to the guy that doesn't understand the time flying, to me it looks perfect. And once you understand and you put your hands in it and you work the birds and you fly them, and you understand, get the experience, then you can say, okay, now you can point out a few things here and there, what's right, what's wrong, what works for you, what does not work, what may work for me may not work for you. A lot of guys out there, we can share information, but it can help you, or it may not make a difference in your loft. So I believe that we should all stay together. I believe we should all continue to fly our birds. Always promoting the hobby, of course, in the best way. Never looking down at one another, but help each other rise to the top. And let's face it, we are all competitive by nature. Some guys are more than others. Some guys are different levels. Some guys, as long as they have the birds in the backyard and they feed them, they fly them, and they do 2-3 laps, that's good enough. Some guys, what they used to call back in the day in New York City, chasers. They flag them, they have a gang of birds, they go up, they fly a little bit, come down, they're happy. That's okay too. But now, that we're trying to bring back the old school guys that used to compete with the birds and fly for time. Now that we're bringing that back and we're really promoting it up north and down here in the south, I think it's a good thing. So for those folks out there watching, thank you. Please comment. If you don't want to comment, call me. You have my number, 321-794-7284. We can pigeon mumble. That's what I'm here for. Never a day I don't go by without pigeon mumbling. And heck, I was in Cancun, Mexico a few days ago. I just got back and I had a marvelous time. Great time out there. Beautiful waters, beautiful resort, beautiful food. And now I'm back at it again. I'm back dealing with the birds. I had a lot of work to do around the yard. Had to clean a couple lofts up, spread, keep my lawn looking good. I had to spread some insecticide, costly insecticide. Here it is, folks, for the grubs, so my grass doesn't get eaten up by worms, grub worms. For ants, fleas, ticks, roaches, everything you can think of, chinch bugs. Put down this stuff today. So I've been working out here, working hard, try to keep my lawn looking fairly decent. Needs water. I'm about to turn on the sprinkler system and water it in. And also, plans are coming for the new addition to the loft, whether I do the backside, whether I knock that portion off of there, or I build on, or build something totally separate. I don't know. Still kicking around the idea. I have some materials lined up. And all right, folks. So let's share the knowledge, share the wealth, help each other out in a positive way. Till next time, like always, peace. And what better to have in display? Two beautiful white homers, which is the sign of peace and prosperity. Later.